this is called Spotlight, and we're a podcast crew, and we're kind of taking our show on the road, and it's really 15 minutes of us finding out who you are and what you're up to. So why don't we start there? Why don't you tell me who you are and kind of what you're up to out in the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Shahbaz. I have been in the community, in the startup community, probably much more actively in the last 5-6 years.
Okay.
But I've been in the startup community and the fringes since I opened a business doing web dev with a friend of mine back in 2014. He walked up to me and he said, "Hey man, we'd been friends for 15 years already." And he said, "How'd you like to be my global director of sales?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Who else is on the team?" And he's like, "Me."
It's easy to get a big title when you're the only other person in the room, right?
Exactly. So it's sure, whatever, right? We're walking my dog or maybe walking my dog. I can't remember which, but he was like, "Yeah, why don't you want to do that?" And so then started hearing about this, but never really didn't know people in the community.
Okay.
Right. I wasn't tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what pitch sessions were and lightning talks as I started learning about that. That same friend actually had a pitch party in his apartment. We walked by it yesterday on our way back to cars.
Interesting.
It was super funny. It was super funny to just walk by, see what's going on, have all that stuff, just what the heck's going on, right? And just be really checked in now to where I am.
Okay.
In the community versus what life was like 10 years ago. I worked in a corporate job. I was doing a startup on the side, really wasn't paying attention to it. Did that for a few years, made almost no money, went through a professional development course at around the same time as my buddy did. And that work really helped us launch. So we 10x'd our business after that course work that we did. In the first year, and then we nearly doubled the second year. Wow. And then the third year we were like, okay, we're out.
Okay.
Because it was no longer the right mix of work for us to do anymore.
Okay. More people management than kind of hands-on in the business. I know a lot of founders go through that, right? You get to a certain growth stage, and now you've got 25 employees and you're spending time doing HR stuff and, making sure they're checking in on time and vacation and all that stuff. Yeah. I think no entrepreneur really signs up for that.
Nope.
Right. It doesn't realize that's going to be part of it and in that leadership role as you go forward. So
yeah.
Cool. So did you guys sell the business?
No.
You just kind of said,
no, we've
done enough.
We closed up we finished up the work that we were doing. Okay. And thankfully we didn't have a whole lot of employees. We did have lots of conversations around that, but almost everyone was subcontracted and everything.
Okay.
So then in the midst of that, I had left the corporate space, had also started working as a manager in an auto shop for a friend of mine, helped him with some pretty incredible moves in his life.
Okay. Got
picked up by an agency that did marketing who was all up into HubSpot tools.
Okay.
So then I fell in love with HubSpot as an expert. I fell in love with HubSpot. Obviously, I wasn't an expert right away.
Right.
But I fell in love with the tools and got just obsessed with them. Right. All the things that are possible, the things that people can accomplish, the amount of money they don't have to spend, most specifically. Because anytime somebody thinks of a tool like that, if you think of Salesforce, all you see are dollar signs, right?
Yeah, they can be expensive.
Yeah, and
or at least seem intimidating.
Correct, intimidating and expensive, and just I don't want to do this, right? So then there's that, and then in addition to that, when you are tapped into a tool, most of the tools say, yeah, you can have a trial period. Oh, by the way, the trial period expires in 13 days. But what I loved about HubSpot's intention and design was that you could just have the free tools forever. If that's all you needed, yeah. Are there limitations? Absolutely.
Sure.
But none of those limitations are a surprise.
Yeah.
Right?
No bait and switch involved.
Nope. Just free forever. Use it all you need. You had a previous prospect that used it for 8 years for free. Before they found a use case to invest. And all I can think when I hear that is there's opportunity here, right? To move people from spreadsheets and conversations that don't get followed up on to limited automated follow-up.
Sure.
So I started doing that work. And then in the midst of that, I also had a wedding officiant business. And that's really that's my business.
Okay.
I don't talk about it a whole lot.
Okay.
Because it's a much smaller operation.
Okay.
My dream would be to do 200 weddings a year, and I could subsist off that.
Wow. Yeah. You keep pretty busy with 200 weddings, but the thing is there are always 200 weddings, right?
Right.
Weddings and deaths are like the two guaranteed things happening year over year. So
Yes, exactly.
interesting.
Yeah. And so what brought me here though this year, this is my actual first year
Is it really?
participating in Startup Week.
Okay.
And I'm really ecstatic to be here because I've been participating with the Communiful team for the last several weeks and weeks at their planning committee meetings. And they've been just really eye-opening
Okay.
about what's needed, right? So what's needed for locations, what's needed for volunteers, check-ins, sign-ins, things like that, right? I have run events on my own.
Okay.
And I've done check-ins and things, but they've been primarily an afternoon activity,
Okay.
right? Or an all-day activity.
Right.
But very infrequently have I done 3 different days and 3 different places and participating that way.
Yeah.
So that's what brought me here.
Okay.
And
Just to kind of see the layers and understand them.
Yeah.
Work on a more complicated overall project.
exactly. And to be a volunteer because I really love opening people's eyes to what's available. And there aren't that many curious people in the world that are openly curious, especially in this region.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is people will ask you, hi, how are you? And what's your typical response?
Doing great.
Yeah.
That's about as far as it goes.
Nice to meet you. Bye for now.
Right.
Right? Versus, hey, what are you up to in the world? What are you
Why don't you sit down on a podcast and tell us?
Exactly. Precisely, right? That's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So it's a real great chance to tap into people's curiosity and to have that conversation with them to say oh, what is it that you're doing? What do you want to, what are your goals for this week? What's been your most exciting thing for the week, right? Those types of things. So I was just upstairs. Wellworth is a co-working space where I'm a member. And
Was that right?
Yeah, and I was super stoked that this place was selected as part of Twin Cities Startup Week because I love Wellworth. I've officiated weddings, several weddings up at Wellworth.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've signed some of my biggest deals there. The people there are they're just really great human beings, and they care about their members pretty deeply.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and so I walked up there this morning as we were getting going, and the community manager, who is somebody I've known for about 10 years, I said, and she goes, so what's been your highlight of the week? And I was like, well, the people. And then I said, and I jokingly said to her, I was like, yeah, I was really surprised by that. And she's like, yeah, I bet you were. Congratulations on figuring that out. And I thought, this is the type of community, right? I haven't seen her in probably a week or so just because of my schedule, but it's the kind of community where I can walk in and I'm connected deeply enough with the context of the community that whether there's just the two of us standing there or there's 25 people, I can have that kind of banter with somebody.
That's cool. Yeah.
And just really feel welcome and encouraged to continue.
Awesome. That's awesome. So tell me more about Wellworth. What is it exactly?
Sure.
For our audience to kind of understand the values that you get out of it.
Yeah. So Wellworth is a co-working space, and this building where we are used to be a company called Woolworths, which some folks know and some folks will have to search.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
So in this whole space, actually, there was not a juice bar, but like a fountain station
Huh.
on this floor at one time, where people would walk in. The entrance used to be that corner kind of behind us.
Okay.
Instead of over here.
Uh-huh.
And in 2017, they started a transformation of the building. And in 2018, Wellworth opened in August of 2018 on the 5th floor. And the goal was to rent out the other 4 floors. And so that's been, happening. And this space where we are actually is part of the 428, which is the building name, right?
Okay.
And so we're actually sitting on a pickleball court. I don't know if you noticed that when you were
Well, I
sitting.
noticed some stripes on the floor. I assume there must be something cool here sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this space is called a rec room, and right behind you are some pickleball paddles and things.
Okay.
And
So is that all included with your membership? Like you can use the recreational spaces as well?
yep, you can sign up for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just sign a release and all the things. But
Right.
But yeah, that stuff's available. I think you have to schedule it and like plan it out with them, but it's pretty available.
That's
and then,
awesome.
Yeah, and it can be included. Additionally, next door, there's a gym in the basement, which is also accessible by a separate membership through the Golden Rule building, which is next door. In any case, Wellworth is a co-working space. It's been around since 2018. I did say that. They have several different private office spaces. They have a whole co-working area, open co-working with stand-up, sit-down desks. They have about 4 what's called phone booths where people can spend up to 90 minutes at a time just having a private conversation.
Sure.
They've got what's called some dedicated desks. So you can just leave your laptop and maybe a monitor or something, right? And then you can always come to that desk. And they're kind of privatized and they're stand-up, sit-down. And then they have this gorgeous patio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They have
Nice.
a really incredible patio where you can hang out. And it's accessible 365. Obviously, having lived here, we have snow.
Yes,
So-
indeed. Yeah.
Not that many people like to spend time out in the snow. However, it does happen from time to time.
Okay.
Right? And then that's the big patio. And then they have a separate patio on the other side that faces this street behind me. And that's a conference room, but it's an outdoor conference room. So you can actually book the space. It's very cozy, very comfortable.
That's neat.
Yeah. And there's
Like conference spaces are not too common, are they?
right, exactly.
It's pretty neat.
And then they have a large conference room. So if people want to just like be up there, in fact, today they can, if they need, they're like, oh, we need a meeting space, they can go up there. And then otherwise they have a smaller 6-person conference room too.
Cool.
Yeah. So they have coffee and tea. One of the neat parts is they have espresso.
I love espresso.
Like you can make your own espresso like right there.
That sounds amazing.
And yeah, it's I can tell you, having come in on a Saturday or Sunday morning, like there's no coffee being made, right? Because it's staffed Monday through Friday. But
Sure.
if you have 24/7 access, then you can come whenever, right?
Okay.
But Sunday morning, come in if I'm meeting with a friend or something, and I'm like, oh, do you want a shot of espresso? Let's put it together, right?
Nice.
It's like that versus, walking out, finding a coffee house that's open and dealing with it that way. So yeah, it's good. There's good people there. There's a wide range of people that are both transplants and also people who are born and raised here that are members, that are part of the pretty deeply rooted in the community too.
Well, let's transition a little bit
Yeah,
to a startup week and just kind of like the vibe that you've been getting. This is the first year that you've been here.
Yes.
And kind of what have you seen going on around you? What do you think the benefits are people are getting?
Yeah. So some people are getting access to VCs where they otherwise wouldn't. That's one thing. But I think a lot of people are getting access to some really basic ideas, concepts, and instructions almost that are in what I would call the common domain or public domain and get stepped over.
Okay.
Right. So an example might be following up with the people actually helps you close the business. Now, I can say that, and I can say it in a sort of accusatory, like, how could you not know that tone? But the reality is people don't do that.
Sure.
They think, okay, well, Jim didn't pick up my phone call. So that's that. I guess Jim's not interested anymore.
One shot and you're moving on. Yeah.
Right? Or it might be, I called Jim on Tuesday. I followed up with him on Thursday, and he didn't call me back. Okay. What now?
Yep.
You call him on Monday. What are you talking about? But so many people don't do that, right? So I think those types of things, also recognizing the value of how are you logging your time? What are you considering valuable time or not? I think those are some ideas coming across. Mm-hmm. There have been some keynotes with people who have been a part of Startup Week since its inception and organizing it. And those I think are some big takeaways for folks. And then just like getting connected with community, right? I met someone in the financial space who's also just visiting. And they said, I'm really trying to get connected with, a certain type of founder in like this stage, right? Because there's different stages of founders, right? There's like folks who are funded and seasoned and nurtured and whatever, mature, right? But then there's also people who are, just getting going. Mm-hmm. Right? They have a great idea. Stage, yeah, the idea is still at the idea stage, or maybe even they are starting their business, but their business has started. But what they don't have is they need coaching around how to get funding. Mm. And this person was like, I can help them with that conversation, right? Which is that's a pretty powerful space. But because they don't necessarily see the openings, right? Because this is maybe a different space than the space they're used to because they're not from here.
Okay.
For how to like break into those conversations. The way you break into those conversations is you ask someone who's connected.
Sure.
And willing to let you in.
Yeah, there's a lot of good connectors here. That's a common theme, and the people who I've spoken to over the last couple of days is that you had mentioned earlier that in Minnesota, it's kind of like, hi, how are you? I'm great, and move on. But this particular space, a lot of people have said is a lot more open, where you feel like people are here not to sell you something. Mm-hmm. They're really here to offer some sort of assistance and help and really want to help, each of the young budding entrepreneurs or, or wherever they are, however seasoned they are, just kind of answer the questions they need to take that next step.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I'd like to wrap these conversations up with a piece of inspiration. So what inspires you to get up and keep going every day, or what is a piece of inspiration you could give to the audience?
Oh, wow. Yeah. For me, the thing that inspires me the most is that there are we talk a lot about like you take the same route to work every day.
Okay.
And that becomes embedded in your brain. When you choose a different route to work, your brain starts to form a new wrinkle and a new pattern, right? So there's an opportunity to discover. So I've been taking the same route because I operate out of this building a lot. I know exactly how to get here. I know the most efficient way to get here, right? But I also could tell you if you said, I'm trying to get there, but I need to come by this type of thing first. Oh, awesome. Let me think about that for a second. Now it's like I get to rediscover what does it mean to get to work, right? So that inspires me to keep going because it means that every new relationship is a new connection that I didn't otherwise have. Or it's an opportunity to share about something that I know that someone else didn't know, right? And the tie-in example is my brother has a restaurant in Chicago, so I've met a couple people from Chicago, and obviously I love and care about my brother deeply, so I tell people about it, right? And the thing you ask when people are from Chicago is you say, "Oh, you're from like where in Chicago?" And then they look at you and they're like, "Oh, the city." You say, "Okay, so what neighborhood?" Right? So it's a three-tiered question usually. Give you the neighborhood like, Bucktown, which is a neighborhood in Chicago, and then you'll say, "Oh, okay. Oh, well, my brother has a restaurant in blank." Now, what that did was that opened up a new opportunity. Whether or not they go there doesn't matter. But I just opened up a new wrinkle for them to create and a new path to discovery that they didn't have 5 minutes before having a conversation with me. And that's what I seek out in all my interactions.
Awesome. It's that new connection.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
New path, new way to get there.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, thank you for your time today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.